Welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Shox, joined by Frost, Yamato, Cannon, and Gilius. Whoa, so much emotion. I mean, obviously happy for Chachi and for Splyce. Chachi, who's been fighting for so long, and I thought, is it just never going to happen? Is the man cursed, Frost? So super happy to see him get that.
Yeah, not just Chachi, but his brother in arms there in Xerxes. They have been so close for so long, very long careers. Finally get to make their birth there. Then you have Humanoid, his first time going to a big international stage, as well as Norskeren. So there's like a lot of question marks. It's, yes, you know, you see Splyce fans that they finally get to celebrate that these names that have been around for so long get to have their moment. Kabe returning for a second time, but now also looking at the newcomers of the support and the mid lane matchup and seeing if Splyce can keep them together on such a massive international stage. I don't think Norskeren or Humanoid have even played in an arena because they didn't make it to Athens.
Depending on what leagues they played in before or what tournaments they played.
Like
maybe they were massive, you know. But so I was going to say at the beginning of this day, we thought a Splyce who played like they played yesterday does not deserve to go to Worlds. Yamato, do they deserve it now after what you've seen?
We saw a much better display, for sure. I was saying yesterday, if you win the gauntlet, then you get to go to Worlds, you deserve it.
Simple.
Today, they met a much tougher opponent than Schalke. We had a high expectation of Schalke, but Splyce delivered on many fronts. They started doing things in the early game. Xerxes started playing the game. Mid-game started looking more crisp. They're actually active in the game. And I think activity is a good measurement for the teams that we have in the teams in this league. And I think the more activity you have that is positive, the better it is. I love those Splyce showcase today.
How'd the resident jungle expert find the matchup?
Yeah, I think the drafts were much more crisp today from Splyce. And Xerxes really stepped up. Like, he really outperformed Trick today, like, no question about it. Champion decision, like what he picks, like blind picks or counter picks, and just pathing as well. So, yeah, Xerxes is definitely the MVP today, and Splyce is looking really strong.
Yeah, indeed. You talk about, you know, right things to pick, and I know that Yamato, before this day, you had the dream comp for Splyce. Seems to me that they got their hands on a lot of those things a bit too often, really only challenged in this last game, and they still won.
I think the big thing was Chachi on GP.
Yes.
Like, he was soaking up pressure. They were trying to gank him. They were trying to do things. They couldn't really find the right counter to it, and he got to play it for 3 games. That's a lot of Gangplank ultimates. That's a lot of pirate ships. That's something that maybe they should have looked at, maybe coming into the World Championship, maybe even tomorrow. He's not going to be allowed to play it. Yar indeed.
Yeah, and I think it's like, how can you leave GP open 3 times? Like, there must be a click somewhere to pick it away or to ban it. And I feel like Odo is a GP player too, no?
Well,
I mean, I think everyone
who is
in their heart is a GP player.
I'm sure Odo can play it too, so surprising drafts today as well.
Yeah, the fact that champions like Aatrox fall all the way through, no one even looks twice at them, and that was kind of really, yeah, exactly. That was the undoing of Splyce when they entered playoffs, when they ran into Rogue, and it was they gave away Aatrox, priority pick every single time, and not that Fen beat Chachi in lane or anything like that, because I think Chachi was winning the lanes, but was just having a higher impact on one of these picks, and I agree, kind of the celebration and like the good night dreams is right now as you see that moment, you're so happy for Splyce. But the rude awakening tomorrow when they face Fnatic is, if you take GP, you will absolutely get punished. And you shouldn't get GP, and Aatrox is going to rise up much higher.
Let's not go too fast here.
I don't think they give a damn. They're at Worlds.
Yeah, they're at Worlds, that's true. But I mean, you know, you never know which group you're going to end up in. So hopefully maybe you are going to fight for that second seed. I'm sure they are. I just wanted to kind of button it up. Sorry to interrupt you, Frost.
Oh, you're fine.
In terms of all the happiness we saw here and all the absolute elation from the side of Splyce. And we were looking over to the Schalke side, upset in tears immediately. Of course. I mean, but what happened? How did they not step up to the occasion at all today, Gilius?
It's a BO5 is very different from a BO1. It's like it has a lot to do with emotions as well and how you handle a win or handle a loss. You can win a game and get overconfident and then instantly lose the next one. You can lose a game, get humbled, and then win the next one. So it's about experience, and I mean, Upset is still very young. I think the guy will be the best AD carry Europe has ever had eventually. Just needs some time, and yeah, today he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I think a big thing as well with Schalke was that everyone kind of expected them to win. The hype was there. Everyone talked about them as if they are the clear favorite of this gauntlet because OG was such a kind of question mark. And I think that also puts an unnecessary pressure on you when you come from an underdog position. Maybe that was Splyce's plan all along, you know. They're like, we have internet issues, we don't have internet. And then they come in as an underdog, they sweep in through the carpet.
They said they love the underdog position, though. And we've also theorized that they do really well in the underdog position, but not well.
That's why they played like that yesterday.
Well, yes, exactly. It was all planned.
But in the same breath, or if you go back to the regular split, Splyce were contesting to take away the Athens spot with Fnatic. So, there's two ways, because I agree with you. You look at the series yesterday, oh, Origin versus Splyce. The only winner yesterday was really Schalke. We're like, oh, this will be easy
And they tweeted it, too.
Exactly. But here's the thing. You get the warm-up time for Splyce, which they always talk about confidence. That's the word that we're going to say every single time when Splyce are on stage. You hear it in the interviews. Chachi just said it. We just didn't have confidence. We had confidence today. And it's always going to be the thing. So Splyce having that extra BO5, I think is actually massive here. And then B, Splyce have shown consistently that they were the better team over the regular split.
That's true.
So while I do agree with you that the perception felt like Schalke were the heavy favorites because of recency bias of what we saw Splyce versus Origin, which is kind of what you're working with, we knew that the ceiling from Splyce was much higher. And thank goodness they actually got to show it today and punch their ticket to Worlds.
The big problem for Splyce tomorrow is you just went to a 5-game series with OG. You have shown your cards. I would know how to draft against them, personally. Today, 3-0, you showed how you win. You also showed yesterday how you lose. So I'm expecting a very clear 3-0 tomorrow.
The only thing I would say against that is, I don't disagree with you, but in the regular season when they went toe-to-toe with Fnatic as well, all the cards were on the table as well, and they went toe-to-toe straight up, right, with good picks for both sides. So I think what the gist of it here is that they have a high ceiling. My question marks lay in if they can hit it consistently enough throughout a best-of-1 stage in the group stage or possibly a play-in. Let's talk about that in a second. I'm first going to give the key up player of the game, series rather, Shocks, that was 3 games. Kavi, 42% of the votes. What a poetic justice that it's Kavi again who gets it, and he gets back to Worlds. I saw you giving him a hug. Yamato, how happy are you for this guy?
I was super happy for him. You know, I met him in the hallway, and I was like, dude, just make it quick. And he was okay. I was like, yeah, sure, man. And then when I hugged him in the crowd, he was like, I made it quick.
Lovely stuff. If we look at the bracket, it means that Splyce are ready for Worlds 2019, while Schalke end their season here. So now, let's talk about Splyce at Worlds. And I don't want to condemn them to that 3rd seed in play-ins, but let's theoretically say that they arrive in play-ins. Frosk, what are your initial thoughts as how they could do there to start?
Well, I haven't gotten a chance to really deep dive into the play-ins teams. I will say that I personally think it would only make Splyce a stronger team. I do think that when teams get to go into play-ins, we saw this with G2 and Cloud9, who both went in through play-ins and then made massive runs to the semifinals. Last Worlds, it gives you time to figure out the meta, it gives you good scrim practice, and it gives you time to experiment and find your footing, find your momentum. And I think for a team like Splyce that has so many new members to the world stage, 4 out of their 5 players brand new to this level of competition, that only actually bodes well for them if they do take 3rd seed.
Exceptional point.
I think the big thing, the takeaway with Splyce that I felt throughout the day and yesterday and the general consensus about how they talk in interviews is confidence and comfort is a really big deal. I just have to add something in my throat, sorry.
Water.
So Humanoid, I'll grab some water later, it's too tricky. Humanoid on Kiana versus Fnatic, all of a sudden, he was a monster. Yeah. Confidence and comfort. Akali today, confidence, comfort. GP, confidence, comfort. All of a sudden, we see the kind of night and day difference of these players when they're playing something they really want to play, like Noshkiran on Tam, Noshkiran on Nautilus, look rough in that game 3, but doesn't matter. If they find those key picks, which I think they can find the time to explore in the play-ins, all of a sudden we might see peak Splyce.
I also think in terms of their coaching staff, that's then a clear goal. If you're going into play-ins, maybe even groups where you're playing several best-of-1s in one day, then that mental stability has to be in there because you can go on that roller coaster and it can all go downhill or it can all go uphill for Splyce. So I think that's a clear task for them. But then, Gilius, you said about tomorrow, because we now theorize about play-ins, but they could still get 2nd seed. Why is it such a clear-cut 3-0 for you? For Fnatic?
It's just the first, like Fnatic and G2 are on a different level, I think. It's just, these teams have much more international experience than the other teams in the LEC. They have all the superstars. G2 literally has the 5 best players in Europe. And Fnatic is just, I think losing to G2 twice is experience where you learn a lot. And
what's so good about Fnatic?
Fnatic, they have Reckless, Hillisang in a bot lane that's already pretty unbalanced. You have Broxa, who is like, the meta is really good for him right now. And you have, I don't know, the whole team is good. I don't know.
Do you remember who the rest of the team is?
Yeah, Nemesis and Buipo, no?
I think like the sentiment is that you keep hearing words like, you know, the 5 best players, Reckless and Hilly, it's uneven. It's these names that grab out to you. And when you think about Splyce, I mean, you have Kabe, and his name will come to everyone. But Xerxes, it felt like, was having a great split, and a lot of people got behind him and were really singing his praises. But we constantly talk about that X factor, like who's it going to be for Splyce when you stand up to titans like G2 and Fnatic, and it's that legendary, iconic, superstar, whatever adjective you want to throw onto it. That's what Splyce are missing right now. And it doesn't mean that it's not capable, but it means that they now get an opportunity on an international stage where they could pull a Vitality. They could make themselves into superstars. If Xerxes comes into a Worlds and then just like destroys kids, then he gets to become that Broxa, that Jankos. But they haven't done it yet.
How possible is it for Splyce to pull a Vitality? And are we also, I want to use this word very carefully, because by all means I think Vitality did exceptional at Worlds but fell short, but diminish them to being that wild card factor.
I think the nature of play style, for one.
Exactly.
I think I wanted to touch on the point about this particular matchup. I think today was a massive coaching staff victory, honestly. The preparation, 3 games, I think the draft was so successful for Splyce and what they wanted to accomplish in the game, specifically against Schalke. And that's amazing considering they're in a gauntlet format. They had to face another team yesterday and they have to continue preparation overnight. That's crazy. And with that being said, coming into a best of 5 now against a Fnatic, they get to see all of this. I think that coaching draft power is no longer there. And then you have to look at how strong these teams are pound for pound. Fnatic, I think they just play much faster. I think a lot of the champion pools, they kind of collide. People loves the Gangplank too. He loves to get left on an island. Going to have that pick getting contested a lot. The Kali as well with Humanoid. There's a lot of picks there that collide with each other. So I think we're going to have very interesting drafts where Fnatic will have an edge. And I think also player-wise, Reckless and Hillisang are just too lethal.
And I think when teams look at Splyce, they should like try to copy some things. Like I looked at the backstage camera. It looks like a restaurant out there.
Oh, the snacks look unreal.
Yeah, there's like there's a meal, you know, you can eat this, you can eat this. There's like, I don't know, man. They invited everyone. 20 people.
Someone's on like the massage. Someone's got like the slippers.
And that is not,
I mean, it's healthy.
That is absolutely not balanced. If there's 20 brains there, then you will.
I mean, the person preparing the snacks probably isn't helping in the draft, though.
You don't know.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's
you
like
could have made those snacks.
Yeah. Like,
that's the
I
problem.
can make your hors d'oeuvres, and I can also predict the draft.
And then you look at Schalke, and there's Dylan Falco. Why is he laughing?
Gilius.
It's just true.
Okay.
Like, no,
I'm sorry. Okay, so I don't want to like. I feel like it's like
he's saying it's a one-man army versus the machine that is Splyce.
I thought you were throwing shade at Dylan Falco, but you were saying it's one.
I'm not throwing shade at anyone.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying they have like snacks everywhere. They're taking care of their players, and I'm not saying other teams are not.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I totally understand.
And I am also saying that a lot of people in the coaching staff is a good thing.
But too many cooks in the kitchen is sometimes also not.
No, but you can actually see the fingerprints of what he's talking about, which is...
You can disagree with everything I say.
No,
I'm with you 100%. I'm sorry, it's my bad. I'm laughing, it's my bad.
I don't disagree at all, Gilius. I just wanted to make sure that we also gave... I mean, Schalke lost, but we've seen throughout the year that they have put a lot into their coaching staff, a lot into everything surrounding the team. So it's... I just wanted to be careful that we weren't completely...
I worked with Schalke
disregarding them
in Athens at their booth. proof. I respect everyone in Schalke, and I'm really good friends with everyone.
Yeah, just you know, just make sure we're all clear.
No, I was just, I was going to say, I think he brings up a great point in that you can see the fingerprint of Splyce's support structure that they've built behind them. The fact that you can plug in completely different players virtually every single year, and you pop out and it's a 37-minute game every single time, which thankfully not for this series. It's like probably the fastest games from Splyce I've ever seen. So I just want to echo the compliments to Splyce's staff, because I do agree with both their points. This was, I think, a huge staff victory today. I think the draft was amazing. I think the plan was executed brilliantly.
I put that in place. No, I'm kidding.
Amazing snacks.
The snacks. And also, what we saw, I saw bananas, I saw cheese.
There was some carrot sticks, some hummus.
I saw like fresh baked muffin, like wow.
Yeah.
I saw fruits I've never seen before.
Fruits I've never seen before. How did they get this produce in Berlin? We were talking about it earlier.
I got pretty hungry.
This is okay. This happens often. You talk about something behind the scenes, and it finds itself, you know, in the live, which you should not be talking about at all. So no more produce talk and no more snack talk.
All right, I'm sorry.
Splyce the Worlds?
Splyce are at Worlds. So I'm very happy though. I'm very happy though that we that we meandered about also the support staff, because more often than not, one coach gets mentioned or one person who's very vocal in front of the scenes get mentioned, but not all the people who work on it. I think for Splyce in general, also content-wise, they've stepped it up this year, and this can be a victory for the whole organization to be proud of in that regard.
I think when I think about Splyce and how well they might do internationally, I know Peter Dunn, he likes to tweet about players in very strange leagues, and he's watching all of these leagues, and I think coming into play-ins, he's going to face all these teams that I've never heard of, and he's going to know about them. He's going to know all the insides and all the players.
Peter walks up, he's like, his blood type is B.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we were talking about the wild card factor, and I think, you know, what we brought to the Worlds were that we were really, really wild. And I think Splyce is not as wild. And I think, you know, with that being said, if you want to beat the best, you have to be a bit wild.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the play-ins work. Like, is Splyce gonna be? Do they need to beat like Korea 3rd seed, China 3rd seed?
I don't know exactly how the draw works, but you know that the 3rd seed from Korea is in the play-ins, and then it's also, you know, teams from Brazil as well as OCE. Team
That's no problem.
In the past, it's been the 2 groups, and then winners of the groups face the 3rd seeds of the power regions, I think, or major regions, in a best-of-5.
So it's just RNG.
Well, it depends, right? If for some reason the power region
are decided, like Group A will face X team. Group B will face
let's
B
hope
team.
for a good group for Splyce.
I mean, it's only 2, but I mean.
Oh, there's 2 groups.
I believe so. I have to brush up on my structure of the play-ins before
I believe
we
it's
get
4.
Is it? Yeah.
You sure?
Oh no, there's 4 total.
Yeah, there's 4. I was going to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry for the misinformation. Of course, we're still in the whole regional qualifier vibe, and our Worlds prep starts. Well, it's already started, but for the play-ins on Monday, I know Frosk has got her studying hat on, and the group draw show is on September 23rd
Nice plug.
at 4 CEST. So that's when you'll find out with all of us how the groups will play out.
Let me give you some real talk. I'm going straight after this regional qualifier. I've got a week, and I am smashing VODs. I am looking at everyone. Japan, Latin America, Brazil. I'm going to cover all of it.
Okay, well, you haven't watched yet.
No,
who's your secret?
but I've already got my playlist set up. There's like 107 VODs on my playlist.
I love how you're like, oh no, I didn't remember the group system, like the structure for a second, and now I have to tell everyone that I will be prepared, which we will.
No, I'm just trying to hype up, because I know it's...
Oh.
No, the same
Shot is like slang.
She's analyzing better than us.
What I was going to say is that I was putting a huge priority on play-ins and group draw show, because I know previously there was some criticism about not telling the players' stories correctly, and I'm just letting everyone know that I am putting my name and reputation on the line. I'm going to really drill these players and hopefully give a very good draw show.
So what you're saying is LPL's 3rd seed is not getting to the group stage.
Check out Froskeren's Twitter for some good insight.
About everything. Hey, check out everyone's Twitter for good insight. And if you want another look at tonight's series, be sure to stay tuned for our rebroadcast. It is starting in just a few minutes. That was a fun PGL. You know, we went off topic a little bit, but why the hell not? That was all from us.
It was like a straight road, and we're just
meandering. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Gilius, Yamato, and Frosk, for a very entertaining day. We'll be back tomorrow for that decision of who will get 2nd and 3rd seed, Fnatic or Splyce. See you then.
This is a bit loose.
Damn.
No.
Oh my God. Schalke and Splyce have spent the entire year fighting for a spot at Worlds, and tonight one of them will earn the honor of representing Europe on home soil.
Abadage has nothing. He does not have an ult to re-engage. Now pulling back. Abadage trying to do what he can, but Humanoid is on the hunt for blood. Flash is out of safety. Pulls it back. That's not what he wanted. Oh no! Go. This. Nice.
Help me. Yeah, we are here. Can we end top? Or what just do nice.
Lots of stuff happening here. Cleanse now coming out. Splyce now going to leap in. Main screen. Have to keep your eyes on that fight because in goes Kave. That's going to be all too easy. Kave now needs to back up. Doesn't even need to. His front line is there to protect him. They're trying to get something back. Abadage simply cannot do it. Double kill comes in for Kave.
I think Karma might have TP. Not me. They got me. Oh. I can look to it. Look Candle. Can we kill Candle?
Yeah, I will.
Look to hit me.
Did I hit someone? Nice mark.
Woo! Let's go, boys!
And it's just going to be the game. Absolute dominance from Splyce here. They're hunting for more. The TP coming in. Not sure why this is the moment. The Camille chose the TP in. Vizichaki now caught up. Berserk goes in. Up6 going to be in trouble. The ultimate comes out. Tries to flash backwards. The Berserk going to beat up. Kave has taken him out. And the Baron may have gone down in the favor of Schalke. But Splyce are cleaning up the fight. Your upset will not be enough. Splyce should descend if they still have the creeps. Upset a hero play. It would take literally everything he has left. The Nexus falling lower and lower. And with an instant, Splyce do it.